We shall overcome because James Russell Lowell is right. Truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne. Yet that scaffold sways the future. Behind the dim unknown standeth God within the shadows, keeping watch above his own. We shall overcome.
Hi, everybody. This is Tom Hofling from Iowa. I'm the AIP chairman and the moderator of the America's Summit Restore the Republic calls. I want to welcome everybody to the call tonight. These calls are recorded and archived at our main website, which is aipnews.com. We're here 2 nights a week. So we'll take a couple minutes. We'll welcome a few people in to the call here from across the country, and then just in a couple minutes we'll open in prayer.
Hello, Tom.
Hi, Tom. There's Tom Shaw, Representative Tom Shaw from here in Iowa. Welcome. Today, Tom, you posted on your Facebook, I saw a wonderful piece from Chuck Swindoll.
That is a wonderful piece. It pretty much says it all.
It does. I love Chuck Swindoll. I listened to him for years, one of my favorite all-time Bible teachers. But I'd like to read it real quick. 4 lessons for truth tellers. Chuck Swindoll. Few weapons against evil can rival the sword of truth. Though readily available to anyone brave enough to hold it, few will. And it's little wonder. The privilege of wielding so powerful a tool comes at great cost. Misunderstandings, false accusations, broken relationships, loneliness, frustration. Furthermore, standing for what's right frequently involves terrifying bouts with self-doubt and even self-recrimination. Sometimes the choice to take truth by the handle results in glorious victory, but more often the counterstrike of evil comes with startling ferocity and lasting devastation. First, knowing your mission will help you stay focused on the goal. Jesus clearly understood the reason for his coming to earth and never allowed popularity, success, opposition, threats, or even dissension within his ranks to distract him. He remained steadfastly focused on that mission, though not without due care for those around him. He worked hard to make the truth plain. He often repeated the invitation to embrace the truth, but he never allowed the failure of others to pull him off course. Second, encountering evil requires confrontation. Few people enjoy confrontation, but standing for the truth against evil will inevitably require it. And sometimes what must be said will be difficult to say as well as difficult for others to hear. Only rarely, perhaps once in a lifetime, will confrontation require the kind of rebuke Jesus brought against the Pharisees. The greater the evil, the stronger must be the confrontation. In general, I advise the kindness unless the kind approach is irresponsible, but never kindness at the expense of plain talk. Be prepared to state the truth plainly. Third, boldness in the course of a noble fight is worth the risk. Standing for truth requires boldness. Some will be offended by it, so expect to be criticized for the style when the opposition can find no fault with the content. Furthermore, boldness may require strong action to accompany strong speech. You may have to quit a job, end a relationship, confront a powerful opponent, cope with a fear, deal with threats, perhaps even face certain defeat. Don't back down. If you stand on truth, you'll only regret your timidity later, but you'll never regret being bold. Fourth, truth-telling offers no guarantee of victory. We live in a world that does not operate according to God's rules. The present world system punishes good deeds and rewards those who choose evil. In the words of James Russell Lowell, truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne.
Wow. And I can tell you, every bit of that is true. Every bit of it.
And I can vouch for it, too, in my own experience in doing politics for the last 20 years. Absolutely, 100% true. Truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne.
Tom, I was privileged enough to hear a couple of the earlier questions. One dealt with the economy, I believe, and the other with whether atheists enjoy unalienable rights. And, does the Constitution cover that? I guess I'd like to add to that a little bit.
Sure, go, please.
We've been focusing a lot on the Constitution, and I think we need to focus more on the Declaration of Independence. Our Declaration is our organic law. It is the seed that was planted from which all of our laws in the Constitution stem from. When you have unalienable rights, that means they can't be transferred. They can't be taken. They are inherent in you. And it reminds me of the old joke, you ask someone, hey, do they have the 4th of July in England? And if you don't think about it, you say no. Well, yes, they have a 4th of July in England. They just don't celebrate it like we do. Well, it's the same thing with unalienable rights. If you ask, do the Chinese people in communist China have unalienable rights? If you don't think about it, you'd say, well, no, they don't, because their government oppresses them. But yes, they do have unalienable rights. They are just not as fortunate as we and blessed as we are in this nation. We are the only nation founded on the principle that our government was formed for one purpose, to make us secure in our unalienable rights. And when we cannot even get the question of life right, we hold these truths to be self-evident. That affects everything that happens in this nation, the economy, illegal immigration, the whole 9 yards, because if we cannot secure that one unalienable right, we will never have any of our other rights. And we see them slipping away and moving away from us each and every single day. And that's why I believe the fight to save this nation starts with the unalienable right to life.
Amen.
Amen. Tom spelled out so well. I mean, the principles of the Declaration are the cornerstone of our party, but more importantly, those are the principles that are the cornerstone of our country. And I want to read the important first part of that real quick here. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. Truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne. I'm going to read you a quote from Winston Churchill. It's a rather famous quote, but I think it's one we would do well to review once in a while. He said, "If you will not fight for right when you can easily win without bloodshed, if you will not fight when your victory is sure and not too costly, you may come to the moment when you will have to fight with all the odds against you and only a precarious chance of survival. There may even be a worse case. You may have to fight when there is no hope of victory, because it is better to perish than to live as slaves." Truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne. Standing for truth requires boldness. I'm going to stand for the unalienable right to life, period. As a legislator, I have no power to legislate against unalienable rights. Still in a time when we can still regain our country by peaceful, lawful, political means. We still have the ability to do it. If people will just get up off their couch, shut off the boob tube, if they would devote as much time to their civic duty as they do to watching television, this country would be changed overnight. Being principled is actually practical.
We shall overcome because James Russell Lowell is right. Truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne. Yet that scaffold sways the future. Behind the dim unknown standeth God within the shadows, keeping watch above his own. We shall overcome.